Hello, welcome to CarCast. I'm Matt, the moderator, DeAndrea. I am flying solo today. Alistair's out, and we'll catch up with Goldberg later in the week. But I wanted to get a show in the can and talk to you guys a little bit. So I'll see what I can do just doing this by myself. But we're gearing up for Monterey Car Week, as you guys know. I'm hoping we're going to get a chance to talk with maybe Alexander Weaver from Broad Arrow Auction sometime this week to kind of find out what's going on there, what's going on the docket, some cool cars that are coming up. Broad Arrow was purchased out by Haggerty not too long ago, so see how that's affecting their relationship, what kind of good things Haggerty provides for them. So looking forward to that. Hopefully this week we can get some time with Alexander. Um, and I'm going to be rolling up with Adam Carolla again. We're excited about going back up there and getting on the track. He's going to do some racing. Uh, if you guys get a chance to, come up to Monterey for Car Week, certainly come by the track. I think he's going to be in the car almost every morning, practicing or qualifying or racing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We always kind of say Saturday's probably the best day to come up because there's so much stuff going on at the track. And of all the events that you can do at Monterey, there's some cool stuff. But the track is in my mind kind of one of the coolest places to go. They get applications for something like 2,000 cars up there, and about 550 cars are chosen, and they really are the best of the best cars. And they all have to come with a fascinating story, some real racing history. So that'll be cool. Hopefully, you guys will get a chance to come by and check that out. If not, I'm going to try to grab some content, post up on social media, grab some interviews. I believe I'm going to be talking with Dario Franchini, talking about everything he's been doing with Gordon Murray and his new car. So that'll be kind of fun as well. Yeah, I guess we could talk about what Adam's going to bring, but let's get some housekeeping out of the way and hear from our friends at Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. And right now, you can receive a 50% free bet credit up to $250 on your first deposit. And you can bet on anything from Olympics to baseball to Formula One. They've got it all. Every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Of course, when the game's over, just head on over to the online casino to get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 different slot games. Just head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online, the game starts here. So I was just hanging out with Adam the other night, and we were talking about what to bring and how we're getting it prepped. We wanted to bring the BRE Roadster, and I know you guys are probably familiar with this car, although he hasn't brought it out in a little while. But this is just a cool piece. This is the first BRE Roadster that was made. Pete Brock. So BRE is Brock Racing Enterprises, and Pete Brock, you guys know, we've spoken about him many times before, but he was on the Shelby team. He worked for Shelby, he was the designer there. He designed when Shelby was racing the Cobra. He's like, I think we can make this faster by improving the aerodynamics, and came up with the Shelby Daytona Coupe, which is a very, very cool piece. And then Pete also designed or did work on the design team on the 63 split window Corvette. So two very cool, notable things for sure from Pete. But the BRE Roadster that you see here in the photos on the YouTube channel is, about 1969, Pete pitched Datsun and said, "Hey, let's go racing. I think I can take your little Roadster and win an SCCA." And at the time, Datsun in the US, Datsun North America they weren't too interested in doing it. But Pete had some contacts in Japan as well, and he had reached out to Nissan Japan, and they sent him two of these Datsun Roadsters and a little bit of money just to get their name on it and to go racing. And Pete hit a home run with these things. He beat the Toyota, the 2000 GT, that Carroll Shelby was racing at the time. So Shelby was racing Toyota, and Pete wasn't really invited to be a part of that program. I'm sure he'll have a lot more details on it. I think he wanted to drive, and then he was told no. But Pete went out and fielded his own team with Datsun and ended up winning. And then from there, kind of grew the BRE program over the next few years. We got the Datsun 510s that he had, and a number of other cars as well. So Adam wanted to bring this car back out. We thought it would be kind of cool to bring it, the Datsun Roadster. Our friend Rob Fuller at Z Car Garage, I believe, is doing some work on it. We sent the car up to him a few weeks ago just to kind of get it on the dyno, dial it in, make sure everything is going well. I think he ended up rebuilding the transmission, was popping out of gear, and doing some calibration and tuning on the engine and the brakes as well. I don't know that it needed much more than that. I think it was in pretty good shape. So this would be a cool car to see out there. So if you're coming out to the track, I don't know exactly where we're going to be set up, where we're going to have our pit, but as we get out there, if you guys follow on social media, I'll start posting where it is, some pictures, and whatever row and stall we're going to be in. So if you guys want to come by and say hello, or just come by and see the car, there's going to be some really cool other stuff out there as well. So I think that'll be kind of a fun thing. And then at some point, like I said, I'm going to swing by and maybe talk to Dario Franchini for a little bit. If you guys watched any of the Goodwood stuff from the hill climb, you can see that Dario was out there in the Gordon Murray T50 and the racing version, the T50 Niki Lauda edition. And that car is just crazy. The fan car is crazy fast. But they've got the T33, which is kind of the smaller, more streetable version. The T50s are the 3-seat version. And the T33 is the 2-seat version. Let me see if I can find that. Find some images or something of it. So I kind of want to get a sense from, we spoke to Gordon Murray as well last year, and I think the year before. So kind of want to get an idea of where they are with the car, when they're being delivered. They're going to be, expensive and rare and collectible and fast and just overall a pretty insane vehicle. And we'll find out what Dario's involvement is, if he's just I think he's been brought on as sort of a driver, a test driver for them, and to give them feedback on how to dial this whole thing in, to dial in all of the suspension and components and everything from throttle response to how this thing is going to react to a driver. Certainly someone of Dario's capability, which is going to be more than most people. Excuse me, just taking a drink. So that'll be kind of interesting as well. All right, let's see what else is going on over there. Recently, I went over and checked out the Ford Maverick Lobo. So we talked about the Ford Maverick previously, the updates that they've done to it. The big news was they're offering the hybrid in an all-wheel drive version. So you can get the gas engine version, which is all-wheel drive, and the hybrid version, which was just front-wheel drive. And now the hybrid version is also available in an all-wheel drive. But they wanted to do sort of a sport truck, if you will, a street truck version of it. So they took the Lobo name, which is on the F-150 in Mexico, and they wanted to bring it here and have some fun with it. And this is kind of what they came up with. It's cool. When I got down to see it in person, it's cool. Now you'll see the photo here, and it's got the cool sort of rally type wheel on it. There's two wheel options. I believe they're both 19-inch. But I think this is the way to go. You get these wheels. Now, here on this blue truck, they're in black. And when they showed it to us, it was in black. But I don't know. I think you maybe do these wheels in a slightly different color to make them kind of pop a little bit more. You can do this even in the blue truck, or even the black truck. You can do the wheel in a white. It'd be tough to keep clean, but I think I think it would look kind of cool. Um, so they lowered the truck a little bit. It's about a ½ inch lower in the front, about an inch, maybe 1.1 inches in the back. They switched from an 8-speed transmission to a 7-speed transmission, and then added paddle shifters in there. And they were basically figuring out you can't really get the RPM that you want, and you'd be shifting too much essentially with the 8-speed. So the 7-speed was going to be the better option when you're in the paddle shift mode and having some fun with it. They've also done a few things around the body, the front grille, the trim on it, and made it a little bit sportier all around. Now, they didn't change the power. It's still the same 2-liter EcoBoost with 238 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. But they have a torque vectoring differential in it, and it does allow you to they told me this thing will do donuts. They told me it'll drift, although it is available. It is I believe it only comes in all-wheel drive. And they put some trim to make it more unique on the interior as well. Some of the stitching, some of the blue and the green stitching. And the new trucks as well also have the bigger screen, as you can see in the photo here. But it has the larger touchscreen in it. That's going to be pretty much standard in the Mavericks. Nobody was really, I don't know, maybe nobody was ordering the smaller screen, or nobody was real happy with it overall. But anyway, this looks like a cool piece. It's going to start at just under $37,000. I believe it can go up to about $42,000. I know that's a little bit of a jump. This is for the Lobo now, not for the Maverick, but it is still kind of a jump of where the Maverick launched originally. But it's a cool piece. I like they're doing a street truck version. I kind of wish it had a little bit more power, just a little something to separate it from the current lineup. But my guess is the investment for emissions and the calibration tuning and everything for it was not going to be worth it. Maybe if this does very, very well for them, then we might see a little bit hotter version come from them at some point. But anyway, it's kind of a cool piece to see from them. And another thing from Ford, and I don't mean this to be a Ford show, it just happened to be this is what the news is and some of the things that are being sent my way. Although I would imagine that a lot of the stuff that's sent my way has sort of a Ford bias to it, probably because of the stuff sitting behind me, the cars and the stuff you see on the wall. But we were talking about subscriptions in cars and features that you can purchase over the air. Performance upgrades is one that's interesting. Paying a monthly subscription for heated seats sounds a little weird to me, like what BMW was trying to do, but paying a one-time fee to get a performance upgrade is kind of interesting. And Ford is taking the Mach E, which the Mach E GT performance package, which is already fast, 0 to 60 in about 3.8 seconds. And for $995, you could purchase through your Ford mobile app the performance upgrade, and it adds 100 pound-feet of torque and will get you down to about 3.3 seconds, 0 to 60. Now, that puts it into interesting territory, right? Because now you're faster than a Tesla Model Y. I think you're faster than a Porsche Macan. Now I don't know what it does to the overall range. It probably won't affect it because this uses the total range. Like obviously, if you're on it, full throttle all the time, it's gonna make a difference like anything would. But 3.3 seconds, 0 to 60 is what they claim. 11/8 in the quarter mile at 114 miles an hour. Makes a nice kind of performance option for this thing. The only thing they didn't mention, which I thought would be kind of interesting, would be it would be cool if you're able to download this performance upgrade and test it for like, I don't know, 48 hours, 2 or 3 days or something like that. Get a trial run and see if it's a noticeable difference. And do you like it? Is it worth the nearly $1,000 for it? Um, you know, I haven't tried it, obviously, and I don't think they have anything like this available yet for the Ford Lightning that I have. It'd be interesting if there was some sort of performance upgrade you can download to make the truck quicker. And then for sure, I would want to see, is it something that I can download and try? Is it something that I can try for a couple of days or something and then see if I want it? Or does it automatically ping your card after like 5 days or 3 days? Like, the typical sort of freemium model, as it's called, I think would be kind of interesting. But to commit to buying it without trying it, I mean, I guess it's cool, but I just think I would have liked to have seen, a little bit more of a trial period. Um, Another thing that came up, so we got Monterey that's happening, and not too long after that, we're going to be getting ready for the SEMA show. And as you know, I've taken the Ford Lightning up there. We're doing some things to it. We're going to be bringing it to the Real Truck booth at South Hall. So if you guys, by the way, if you guys have not gone to SEMA, they're they're being more open about getting people in there. There are tickets available that you can buy for Friday. So the trade show happens Tuesday through Friday, and at some point on Friday, they have tickets that are available. And then they're doing the SEMA Fest, which is their concert series. They started it last year. They were a little overzealous on maybe the space and what the turnout was going to be. So this year they're going to focus more on just having it at the convention center only Friday night, not Friday and Saturday night. They're going to have some great bands and stuff there. And tickets are pretty affordable. I want to say something like $50 for SEMA Fest, and maybe there's VIP packages for about $100. Um, but there's also tickets available for the show. So if you want to do like SEMA show access and SEMA Fest, they have that available, which is kind of a cool option. So on a Friday, you don't have to spend 2 days down there now. On a Friday, you can go to semafest.com, obviously just click on tickets, and then you'll see that they've got the SEMA Fest options for about $50. Uh, to go to the SEMA show, it's about $100. The SEMA show and the concert is $129. And then if you want the whole VIP experience and early access and all that stuff, that whatever they're doing as part of that program, you can get the details at semafest.com. That's $189. So I don't know. It seems not too bad. If you want to go and check it out and see what it is that's going on at the SEMA show that you don't normally get to see other than just in videos and photos and stuff that we put together. The bands they have, Cage the Elephant, Sublime, Fits in the Tantrums, PD. We'll probably talk with someone from SEMA a little bit closer to that date and to see sort of how this is coming together, how it's going to be different from next year, what we can kind of expect this year from it, and how they sort of plan to grow it. So I don't know, it just seemed like I had fun last year doing it, but I was there pretty much all week for the SEMA show anyway. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to be bringing the Lightning to the Real Truck booth that's in South Hall, so you'll get a chance to come out and see that as well. And this truck is not going to be quite as radical and over the top as some of the builds that we've done in the past. The Mach one that we brought a couple years ago with the twin turbo and all the carbon fiber stuff and the custom paint. That was a little bit more involved. This truck is not going to be quite as intense, but we're definitely going to be showing off some new products from Real Truck. There's a new power retractable tonneau cover for F-150s for all the trucks, but we're going to be putting it on this truck to show it off here. Retractable running boards, and I think there's some new LED lighting on the running boards. It's a strip that goes all the way across excuse me, um, some new rack options in the back, bike racks and other accessories we'll be able to show off on the truck. We've got it lowered a little bit. Currently, I'm going to be showing a wheel and tire package, and um, cosmetically, I'm working on a little bit of a body kit, if you will. I'm doing a little bit of a fender flare, a little bit on a front air dam, and the the lightnings are interesting because although it looks a lot like a normal F-150, other than maybe the light bar and stuff in the front and the grille, there's some subtle differences on the body. I assume for aerodynamics and to reduce wind noise, because there's no engine to hear. So the pieces on an F-150 don't normally fit onto this, especially the body kit stuff. But we're working on some fender flare options, and we're taking some pieces that are out there, like from Air Design. So we got some pieces from Air Design, and we're going to see if we can get them to work, but it's probably going to take some cutting and some heating and some massaging to get it done. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can kind of pull it off. But when you go to the aftermarket wheels like I did on this one, these are the Carroll Shelby wheels currently on it from Holley. They're wider. They're still 22s. On the Platinum Edition truck, it came with 22s. So they're still 22s, but they're a 10-inch wide. So when I had something like a 275, I think it was a 275 50 tire on there, I went to the 305 45 tire. So I didn't change the overall diameter of it, but it is wider, and without a little bit of a flare, it's like a 3/4 of an inch flare on it. It looks like it sticks out a little bit, which some people like the look, some people don't. I'd prefer to have something on there to compensate for that wider stance on the wheel and tire package. So I'm going to try to fit that up. Um, and overall, what it's done to the range and the performance, I probably wouldn't go to such a sticky tire. Doesn't necessarily need it. The truck weighs 7,000 pounds and it's all-wheel drive, so it's got plenty of grip already. But I do eat a little bit of range by going to that, or a little bit of range by going to that setup. So I guess we'll see. But anyway, it'll be kind of fun to do a few things on that truck and to be able to show it off. If you guys remember back at SEMA last year, we were going around looking at some of the new parts and grabbing some interviews. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. But there are some updates that have come across that parts are now starting to come available that were announced last year. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, so we were talking about SEMA, and one of the things that came up last year, again, was talking to the guys at RideTech. They've been working on new suspension for the Fox Body Mustang platform, like what's behind me, sitting right here, this Cobra, which I haven't touched in a little while, but starting to get in to do a few things on it. They showed us their front suspension for it, which is an SLA suspension. It's their short, long arm suspension pieces for it. Cool setup. And we'll bring it up on the YouTube channel. So you can kind of see the pieces and stuff that they're doing here. Now, this is supposed to really kind of change the dynamics of the suspension, and it works with factory cross members, or K members, if you will, or aftermarket K members. And it works with a couple of different brake packages as well. So which is good, right? You can work on you can use new brakes like from an S550 or an S650 or the SN95 brake packages. Now, what's very common, like the car behind me, is my car has the SN95 brakes. I have the Big Bear brake kit, and so this would kind of work with that. Should work with it as well. Again, I haven't tried it, but it might be something interesting to try. Now, overall, this is going to increase negative camber and lower the roll center. So again, improvements that you can see with a number of different companies that are out there that have been in the game for a long time on the Fox Mustangs, like Steeda and Maximum Motorsports and so many others. But they wanted to come up with something for a rear suspension that wasn't as quite as conventional as what's going out there. We have modifications for the 4-link already. We have Panhard bars and Watts links that you can do. The Maximum Motorsport stuff, they have a great 3-link setup with a torque arm. Kenny Brown has an IRS swap. They take a 99 to 04 Cobra independent rear suspension, and you can put it into the Fox Body Mustang, and then they do some stuff to change the geometry of it, so you can do an independent rear Mustang. Steeda has a 5-link setup, which is really kind of cool. They've done an incredible amount of testing for that. So RideTech wanted to do something different with the rear, so they've developed their own independent rear suspension system, and it's finally coming available now. You can kind of see what they were doing. So they use the cradle and everything in the upper lower control arms and the hubs and stuff. This is all their stuff. This will bolt into your Fox Body Mustang, and then it'll use the center section from your modern Mustang and the half shafts, your S550 Mustang. So you'd have to source it, or I think they can help you source it, new, used, whatever. I believe you have to shorten the half shafts if you go with the stock ones, or there are some companies like G-Force that can probably sell you ones that are already made to fit. I think they've been working with G-Force on it. And of course, with RideTech, there are a number of different Fox shock options for it. They've been taking the car out recently and testing it, and it's looking like the feedback is really cool, really impressive stuff. And again, if you're looking at any of this on the YouTube channel, we're just kind of clicking through some of the images on their site, so you can see their test car and the suspension system. So I saw this at SEMA a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, and maybe the year before. I'm not quite sure, because they've been kind of working on this and teasing it for a while. But they might have told me about it 2 years ago and then started showing it last year. But now that it's in there and it fits. By the way, this the exhaust, the whole like sort of catback version of this is from a Cobra as well, from the independent rear Cobras, the 99 through 04 Cobras. So if you picked up one of those catbacks, that should work. I don't know if it needs modifications to make it work. Again, haven't tried it yet. The kit's pretty new. I don't know that they've actually delivered any yet. They're just starting to deliver. So their test car may be the only one that is running it. So anyway, here's a shot from underneath. You can see it all put in there. Now, obviously you don't use the quad shock that's on there, and you have more room for wheels and tires. So this would also work. It does allow for a larger wheel and tire package, but if you do a mini tub kit, this would work with the mini tub kit as well. So if you picked up something from that's existing out there, a mini tub kit, this would kind of work as well. So anyway, it looks like a cool setup. I'd like to see the car in person. Maybe they'll bring it out to SEMA. Love to get a ride in it. Now you're reducing the unsprung weight as well. So they're claiming it'll be an overall smoother ride. As far as installation, I don't know how complex it's going to be. I know they've been trying to make it as bolt-in as possible. And it looks like a pretty good, robust piece. Now, compare this to an IRS swap, like from the 99 or 04 Cobras. I did one on one of the other project cars, the other black Mustang that we just brought out as a suspension display, basically, a few years ago at SEMA with Tokiko shocks. We brought that unibody shell of a car and then showed that off. I'd have to find some images of that. Let me see if I can find that. But that car, we were showing off what can be done with Tokiko and a partnership with them and the shocks in them. So we did a Maximum Motorsports front end with an independent rear end from the Cobra. Anyway, so this is a little bit different. One of the issues with the independent rear is I believe it's a little wider. The Cobra one, it was a little wider, and we couldn't get quite as much of a tire on there, a wheel and tire package on there. So this kit from RideTech should allow a little bit more of that. But um, anyway, yeah, looking forward to SEMA. Hopefully you guys can make it out to that now that it's becoming more available for you guys to get tickets to go to the show. And there's the concert series SEMA Fest that night. Um, it'll be great to see you guys out there. We're trying to do some live podcasting as well. So when we get closer to that, we'll be able to post the schedules and stuff for that as well. I don't know if it's going to be happening on Friday on the public days, but we're still kind of working it out when you guys can come out and see that. So yeah, so I think we're gonna do a little bit shorter show this week because just kind of flying solo here. You know, appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. You know where we are on social media. You can follow me at Moderator. And you know, again, thanks for everyone that's been running around and picking up the Bravago, the hard seltzer. We're mostly in SoCal right now, but we're in a handful of Total Wine stores. We're doing tasting events there, and we've been selling out each time we do one of those events. So people that are trying it seem to really like it, and I appreciate that, guys. And if you're not in SoCal, you can certainly buy it online at drinkbravago.com. We can ship to 37 states. So, yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. Until next time, keep the air in the spare and the bag in the wheel.